around, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. myself my name. Forgot about all you tried to change. Familiar was the sound of your voice as I continue to walk on by. It has been a year and now I'm living on the line. It has been a year and now I'm thinking what's mine, that I'm better off right here without you. That I'm better off right here without you. That I'm better off right here without you.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep.
Hidden within a dark castle lives a man whose strange experiments have unleashed unspeakable horrors. Now, within these walls, roam creatures more shocking, more brutal, and more terrifying than the human mind can comprehend. For each hammer, there is a trap, and for each trap, there is only death. This fall, 5 monsters, 5 hunters, 1 endless night of horror. Welcome to the Doktor's Curse.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talking Siege, episode, I believe, 66. For those who are new to us, welcome. We are a podcast that pretty much covers all things esports, community content, and in-game news within the ANZ region. My name is the Russian Cthulhu. Today I'm joined by my wonderful co-hosts, Sky and Devmarta. We also have a fantastic guest appearance in face of Sylix. Sylix, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
And for those who either live under the rock or don't know you, would you be able to introduce to our viewers?
Yeah, so my name is Sylix, Vincent Tam. I'm the coach for the Wildcard team, representing ANZ at the Tokonami finals soon. We were previously known as Auglis. That lasted for about 9 months. Prior to that, we were the Atletico roster.
Yeah, a whole lot of memories with all 3 of the iterations, and more to be forged. But for now, before we dig further into that, why don't we cover quickly some of the game news? Dev, I believe you have something for us as well.
Yeah, so firstly, let's go over what happened in the last few weeks. We had the Y4 Season 3.3 patch notes, so the 3rd patch this season. And it just kind of some minor changes, balancing mostly. There was actually a really good episode of the Hot Breach podcast where they went to the Ubisoft Barcelona offices and had an experience with the development team to go through their process of balancing and bug fixing. And so that was really interesting. I highly recommend you go and watch that. But as a TLDR of the changes, the F2, which is Twitch's assault rifle, has had its ammo capacity reduced in each magazine from 30 to 25, so maximum of 26 rounds if you chamber one. So a little bit of a minor nerf, not too much. Warden is now a 2-speed 2 armor instead of a 1-speed 3 armor. And Glaz's OTS, as Glaz has been a bit underwhelming, as he was nerfed recently and made it a bit less effective. So they've increased his fire rate by 33%, so it's quite fast now. Head into a game and start spamming that on spawn. That's pretty funny. And Jackal has had a slight rework where after you scan footprints, that line of footprints will disappear, so you can't keep scanning the same person multiple times. And also the longer that those footprints have been on the ground, the older they are, the cooler they are, the less pings you'll get out of them. Yes, I mean, mostly just minor changes, but it'll be interesting to see how they shape up for the rest of the season. And they are live now. So if you want more information on that, a bit of insight into why the developers have made these changes, you can go to rainbow6.ubisoft.com, click on latest news, and it's the latest one there. It's Year 4 Season 3 designer notes mid-season. So it's pretty good. Yeah, I'm keen for it. But we've had another big thing happening though in game, and Sky, I'm gonna let you talk about that one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty exciting, isn't it? We've had the Halloween event hit the world of Siege over the past week, and I know that we have, or myself, Devon Cthulhu, have certainly had a very good shot at playing that Halloween mode, and it's been a blast. For those of you that don't actually know what the Halloween mode is, and shame on you because you should have played this mode. But no, certainly make sure you get on it and give it a go. It is on for, I believe, another week at least. So what this mode is effectively, it takes place on a revamped theme park, which is all spookied up, as you can actually see here in the trailer that's being played above me up there. And what there are, there's attackers, defenders. The attackers' job is to hunt down the defenders, and the tools they have to do so. All attackers have a sledgehammer. On top of that, there are 3 unique abilities. There is the Jackal foot scanner, the Pulse scanner, and also the Lion EE1D. And you get to pick which sort of subclass you wanna roll with. You can have as many of each subclass on each team. You know, it's not like one per class or whatever like that. And you also run quite fast. We were talking about this before. On the flip side, you've got the defenders. The defenders pick from a select group of operators. And each defender has their own gadget. So there's Legion, there's Frost, there's Capcan, there's Ella. And all of these sort of gadgets you can use to, I guess, slowly try to bait in the attackers into your traps, and inevitably, hopefully get rid of them, because you don't want them coming after you, that's for sure. And yeah, you get to sort of use those gadgets, work together. You also have a secondary gadget. Every single defender has one of these. It's a device in which it lets you go invisible, which is pretty crazy. And you also get increased speed for a small period of time to try and run away from the attackers. And you only get 3 charges of that, so it's certainly a commodity and something that you want to use wisely. So yeah, it's a really exciting way and a new way to play Siege, that's for sure. It's very scary. Someone that has given this mode a fair go is Magnet. And if you go over to Magnet's Twitter, you'll actually see a clip, and I feel like this clip of Magnet embraces my feelings so well every time I play this mode. And my family have given me a fair amount of complaints as to how much I've yelled while playing this mode. It is extremely scary, and especially while playing as a defender. So I can't recommend it enough. Get in, play this mode. We'll have more on this event next week, so make sure you stay tuned. However, moving on now to our Sylix.
One thing, Sky, may as well touch on the skins as well, because there's all the skins that have been released with this mode, mainly for the defenders. You can get them using the Doctor's Curse packs, or you can actually buy them using in-game renown. So if you're someone like Sky, who's been saving up 500,000 renown for the last 3 years for some reason, I've never known why he's saving up that much renown. Finally, now I know, because you can buy them. You can buy these packs, And I believe you bought all of them using Renown Sky. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah. So it's really cool. We haven't had these seasonal packs before where you can actually purchase them with Renown. So go out there and do that. You can also purchase them with R6 credits. You can even earn 2 of them just by playing the game mode. And yeah, you can even get the attacker skins, the sledge skins, just in a weekly challenge as well, not through the cosmetic system. So yeah, that's another little thing that's come with Doctor's Curse.
Yeah, awesome. And like they've said, you can go on over and buy those in the Rainbow Six client with either Renown or R6 credits. Moving on to our next portion of the podcast, we have got Cthulhu, who is going to be chatting to Sylix, our wonderful guest, and giving him a nice introduction.
Indeed, I will, Sky. Thank you very much. Well, as Sky said, Sylix, once again, welcome to the podcast. Absolutely keen to pick your brains on some of the topics that we have today. For now, though, you did kind of give us a rundown of who you are and what's your position currently within the roster. Tell us a little bit more about how your overall career in esports came to be, and how did you end up becoming the coach of Wildcard, essentially?
So my career in esports started a long time ago. I started playing Counter-Strike in like 2004, competitively, and then all the way up until CS:GO. Played that competitively for a little bit, and then all of a sudden, I was introduced to Rainbow Six Siege just as it was released, kind of. And I'm like, oh, this game's pretty fun. I'll give this a shot. I really liked the dynamic of the game and just fell in love with it from that point on. Played in some casual games before I was like just asked by Todd to join his little squadron, and played competitively with him, Spaz, Schmed, and it might have been Neo at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how I was introduced into competitive Siege, and played on the Atletico roster for a while up until basically the start of this year or end of last year, roughly the same time, before I transitioned to coach for what was then August, and here we are today under the Wildcard banner.
It is indeed, and it was quite a wild ride, honestly. And we've seen quite a few of your of the matches when you were part of the core roster where you managed to actually pop off quite well. And after you transitioned into that coach role, it seemed that it was quite an upgrade as well in regards to just the overall logistics for the roster. You still have obviously fantastic strategical thinking and kind of being able to focus more on how the roster kind of plays it out and having a bit more of a bird's eye view over the performance. Seem to have worked out so far pretty well, all things considered. But after many kind of speculations, because there were plentiful while you guys were under the August banner, there were a huge amount of speculations within the ANZ community. Some people were mentioning Renegade, some people were mentioning some other orgs. How did your roster come to be acquired by Wildcard?
So I'm sure it was kind of known by a lot of people. We were approached by many organizations. We did decline a lot of offers because they simply weren't offering what we needed in terms of support and just the dynamic between players and the organization as well. I'm not going to go into specific details as to who came to us or whatever. I feel that's something that should remain a bit more personal, private. But Wildcard came to us, I think, late August.
Okay.
No, early August. It was before MEO.
Okay.
A month or so before MEO, and it was only just after that weekend of the Six Masters where we signed and we were able to represent Wildcard for the first week back for Pro League.
Yeah. Okay. And under the newly made Wildcard banner, how much more preparation was possible before APAC LAN comparative to when you guys were known as Orgless?
Oh, there was a huge difference. So, yeah, thanks to the wildcard guys, we were actually able to go boot camp in Sydney. So the boys headed down the Saturday prior to the finals, which gave them 6 days worth of boot camp. We were up at Halo Gaming in the middle of Sydney, just right
Okay.
near Central, which was really cool. We got some really good time to just improve our own communications, improve ourselves, make sure we weren't making the same mistakes come APAC finals time, and yeah, really look at new strategies or whatever we needed to do. And it's different when you do it in person compared to online because it's a different dynamic.
Yeah, I'd imagine it will be just a bit everything more just up close and well, not up close and personal, but like it's just a different feeling seeing your teammate right next to you and just essentially talk it out straight away, like what went wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, sweet. Well, with the kind of introduction to you and the team going over, Sky, I believe you do also have a couple of discussion questions that occurred during the APAC finals.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you, I guess, briefly preluded to, Sylix, you guys obviously were in attendance at the APAC finals, and that was, I know, a very exciting moment for all Aussie fans, especially because towards the end of Pro League, it was looking a little bit sketchy for you guys, but luckily you did manage to make it through in the end, and I know that there are many fans that were pleased to see that be the case. And I guess sort of going into your first matchup, you're up against Xavier, and I guess this is a match where I feel like it's sort of I think from the get go it was a match that a lot of people thought was going to be a close one. Yet they sort of I think tipped you guys to win it in the end, but like there was still always that doubt. I'm sort of interested. We know you guys lost that first map versus Xavier. What was sort of going through your head, because you're in a position there, you're down, you've got to win the next two maps to have any chance at all, to make it to the semifinals. What, I guess, especially from a coach perspective, what's going through your head? How do you calm the boys down, and get them in a position to win the next two maps, and especially in the dominant fashion that they did?
Well, the key thing was the veto phase took me a bit by surprise. Their pick was Cafe, and we had prepared for their Cafe, but I didn't think they would pick it. I thought it might have gone to Bank. So yeah, we were a bit thrown off by that. We didn't expect to do amazingly on Cafe because just their playstyle was just really strange. They had rounds where they didn't bring hard breach, so they would just end up collapsing on you really quickly, and that's like Xavier in a nutshell. Collapse on you in the last 30 seconds to win the round. So we lost that map. What was it, like 7-4, 7-3? I don't remember. But we came like after that map. We're like, all right, it's fine. One map down. We've got Coastline next. We're gonna just smash that one. We were just fully confident with it. We didn't have any doubt in our minds that we couldn't take this. So I don't think. But well, to answer your question, there wasn't really any necessity to get anyone's head out of like the dumps. We're still pumped because we knew we had Coastline, and then Clubhouse afterwards, which I also thought wasn't going to be in the map pool because I thought they might be in that second. After watching it, I didn't think it was one of their stronger maps. So yeah, that took me by surprise as well. And after we knew that was going to be map 3, I was just confident we could take it.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sort of interested to hear your perspective, Dev. Obviously, you were a caster at the APAC finals. What was your sort of position there watching that matchup? I guess, did you sort of feel the same way? Did you think that they could bounce back, or were you quite doubtful at that?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I feel like a lot of people know that Coastline's a really good map for wildcards. So I think a lot of people had the kind of same confidence you did, Sylix. At the same time, I really had a feeling that after Xavier won map one, it wasn't going to look good for you guys the rest of the series. But no, I'm sorry. I have to say it. I have to be honest. And you proved me wrong. And look, when I bet against you, you tend to do better anyway. So maybe I'll just keep on doing that. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like Cafe, like it was reasonably close, but like Xavier did look like they played much better on that one. What I found really interesting is how you said that you just hadn't predicted that map veto at all. And Xavier, they're such a kind of sporadic, aggressive team in game, and they kind of mirror that as well with their veto phase. It seems because they did all these unexpected stuff that you weren't really, you hadn't necessarily expected, and yet you'd still done the prep to counter their Cafe and stuff like that. So I mean, that was really good. I didn't expect. I thought coming into the series, you guys would have one over Xavier, but then because they started quite strong, I started to doubt a little bit. It was day two that I was actually like even more impressed with you guys with. Obviously, it was a 2-0 against Cyclops, and yeah, I was very very much surprised and deeply impressed that you guys managed to pull that one off too.
And I guess that sort of segues us very well into the next question, and that is, how did you guys prepare for Cyclops? Obviously, we know you guys versed them at the Rally Major qualifiers, and I recall watching that matchup, and it was not gonna lie, very heartbreaking to see you guys. You started so well, and unfortunately, it sort of fell apart towards the end. How did you guys prepare to, like Dev mentioned, take Cyclops in the semi-final matchup 2-0?
Well, back when we played them at the Raleigh major qualifier, we didn't actually have much prepared for them because we expected Airwolf to beat them. So we kind of went in relatively blind to that finals. We took map one against them then. We're really pumped, and then we just couldn't close it out. This time, though, we knew how strong they were. We weren't going to take them lightly. We did our homework. I mean, we took it 2-0, but let's be real, it really shouldn't have been.
For those who didn't watch the match, just to clarify what you were saying there, Sylix, there was on match point 6-3, I think it was, for Xavier. There was a technical issue with the server, and we had to rehost like within 10 seconds to go. So it kind of looked like Xavier were going to win map one. And then you guys, I mean, credit to you guys, because I had never expected this would be possible. And I'm sure that Cyclops absolutely gutted. You guys got, what, 5 straight rounds?
5 straight.
To win 8-6 after that rehost. Like, what? We were talking a little bit before about, like, the Sky mentioned, what do you do between maps? What do you do during that rehost that allows you to flip the switch and go from being about to lose a map to destroying Cyclops in 5 straight?
There was just like the adjustment to be able to know what they were doing. It also, I mean, it helped us that they were tilted a bit as well. The very next round, they sent like 3 to try and spawn kill us. So we managed to win more rounds based on the fact that we became accustomed to how they were playing Bank at that stage. And yeah, just executed better.
Yeah, I think another thing that was highlighted by Raven and Manic, who were casting at the time, was that Cyclops kept going down to that same Lockers bomb site. And it was the one that they got really, really close to beating you guys on match point. And then you guys have really good attacks onto that bomb site. Like in particular, Diesel. I think supports don't get enough credit, but Diesel is so good at planting on that site and dodging those C4s. And man, like I was surprised to see Cyclops trying it time and time again. And yeah, you guys got the better of him on that map. And really, I think as soon as that happened, as soon as you guys defeated them 8-6, like that was the series done. They were so dejected, and you guys were absolutely running with the ball. Did you guys feel that as well? I mean, you had the team comms the whole time. What was the point where you thought, yes, we are winning this semifinal and we're going to go to Tokonami? What was that point?
The moment that we were blessed with that rehost, it was kind of like, all right, this is a sign that we need to make this. After winning Bank, we're like, okay, yeah, this is ours now. There's no way we can lose this. And yeah, the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah.
Interested on your thoughts, Cthulhu, on what's been said.
I mean, unfortunately I wasn't able to watch the full series just due to personal commitments. But going into the matchup, I was kind of hoping, like, even on like all the prediction apps, all the betting apps like Strafe and everything, I was putting in Wildcard to go to win, because it's, first of all, it's the perfect, that underdog story finally, and that is finally coming to fruition. Finally, a Wildcard making it to the global finals, and finally that curse is being broken, which I absolutely loved. Somewhat gutted that there won't be like a double ANZ representatives, but on the upper bracket, I mean, that was just I don't think many people really expected what would have happened in upper bracket, so it was an absolute just bloodbath, honestly. But and yeah, with the Cyclops wildcard, I was sweating, honestly. Like right before the match, I was like, well, surely Wildcard already done that prep, beaten Xavier like with this score, and Cyclops has been more or less on and off pulling somewhat similar strats prior to this, and like from the quick glance at some of the performance during the online pro league. So it was kind of to the point, it's like, Wildcard done boot camp. Surely this time they'll be able to grab the revenge at this point. So it was kind of unbacked up faith, but at the same time, the moment I saw the scoreline, I was like, yeah, okay, this is happening. This is good.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that was the biggest moment of the weekend for you guys, surely.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yes, you made the grand final, but at these APAC finals, that grand final, yes, it's important for seeding because the teams from overseas that are very, very strong. Funnily enough, this season, teams from all of the regions are kind of a bit all over the place with the seeding. But the big moment for you guys was no doubt that semi-final against Cyclops. So coming into this event, you look at your half of the bracket and you think there are 3 teams that we have to get through. Only 2 out of 3 teams, actually, that we have to get through to make it to Tokonome. Xavier and Cyclops, they're both very aggressive teams. And did you guys like scrim teams that you knew would play aggressively to like practice for that? What was kind of your way to get through that as a whole? Because it seemed to very much work. I mean, you kind of profiled, there was one, but both of these teams had a similar play style. Is that something you guys found?
Yeah, so both CAG and Xavier had very aggressive and less structured playstyles. That's what we think, at least. So we tried to scrim, I won't name them, more, well, we think are more aggressive, less structured teams in preparation. But yeah, like it's things like that which let us get accustomed to how our opponents at the finals would play, and just be ready for that kind of aggression. I don't know how else to explain the preparation other than, yeah, like knowledge is like the first part of the battle.
Yeah.
And then it's just a matter of using that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Did you have something to add, Sky?
Yeah, I guess, do we want to move on to the next
Yeah,
part?
I was about to jump over. So we talked about APAC finals. Airwolf Wildcard, that was a very close one, 2-1. You guys did lose that, of course, but it was still a close game, which is super impressive because Norengo didn't give Airwolf a close game. Even Fnatic did give Airwolf a close game, but I think you fought just as hard as well. So it is for the first time, both yourselves and Airwolf, first time Pro League finals for either of your teams. So how does it feel to really have that moment where you've said, look, 9 months we were August, we had no support whatsoever. The furthest we've made it is APAC finals. Mind you, one time last year, it did take us to Tokyo for APAC finals, but this is your big break. This is the huge moment, and it comes at a time when you've just had this new organization to sponsor you as well. What was it? What was that like for you, especially as someone who's been on this roster for a very, very long time, all the way through multiple roster changes, through changing yourself over into a coaching position? What was it like just taking that step back and thinking about, how far you've come?
Like it's awesome. It still doesn't feel real. I don't think it will hit me properly until we're actually in Japan playing against the best in the world. So yeah, it's hard to put it into words, but I couldn't be more proud of the boys for making it this far. And it's just something that really shows that perseverance is something that pays off in the end.
Yeah, definitely. Now, talking about those the Tokonami finals, with Fnatic not making it, this is the first time we'll have an ANZ team at any global event. We've never had another ANZ team at a minor or anything overseas, aside from you guys at APAC finals last year when you went to Tokyo. And that wasn't a global final. That was still just an APAC final. So this is a big moment for ANZ as a whole, and a big moment for your team to be that next player really stepping up into a global level alongside Fnatic. Does that put any pressure on you guys, knowing that you're now taking that huge next step? And what does that feel like? What comes into on your plate now in terms of extra kinds of preparation that has to be done, adapting to international play styles, whether there's a boot camp or something you need to prepare for that? What does it feel like having that extra kind of load heaped onto your plate?
I mean, I guess there is a bit of pressure because we are representing ANZ and I guess all of APAC at these finals. And it's a massive honor. And we hope to not disappoint. We want to do our region proud, of course. But at the same time, we want to go there, play our own game, and at the same time have some fun doing it. We don't want to let all these external factors influence how we might feel, just in case it ends up affecting how we play. So yeah, I really want the guys to focus on themselves and make sure they're at the top of their game for these finals.
And eat some bento boxes.
Oh yeah, all the bento boxes, all the sushi, all the ramen.
I feel like, is it a 50-50 split for you? Like, what's more exciting, getting to compete at a global level or getting to eat Japanese food? Like, I want to know what the balance is here.
I mean, that's a really tough question. I'm probably going to weight the tournament higher this time.
Okay.
This time,
not by much, though.
Yeah, fantastic.
So like 60-40?
Yeah, probably 60-40.
Okay.
So before we close out Tokonami, let's touch on your matchup. So the quarterfinal, Na'Vi, as you are second seed from APAC, you're facing the top team from Europe. Now, usually you think that's going to be G2 or Empire, one of these Pro League champions, but it's actually Na'Vi, who formerly known as M&M Gaming. They came up through Challenger League last season. This is their first stint in the Pro League, and somehow they managed to pull off first seed. Like, you are the underdog here, but you're also facing an underdog in a huge way as well. Does that actually give you more confidence than if you were playing against one of the more traditional titans like G2 or Empire? And kind of what goes into your thought process heading into that match?
I think it does a bit. Like, as you said before, they've come from Challenger League, and they haven't had to my knowledge, they haven't had as much LAN experience as the rest of the European teams, and maybe even us. So that might give us a bit of an edge. They finished in first seed, but second seed team was Giants, and to be honest, I think we got the better draw, getting Na'Vi than Giants, because they're scary as well.
I think that's fair to say. I mean, I remember at the APAC finals, after the matches were done, I can't remember who it was talking about aces from Giants, the German aces, not the Australian aces, and then saying, "Oh, it's terrifying playing against Giants because aces just runs around shooting you through walls. Like, you have no idea what's going on." He's such an insane player. And Giants, they have all these more LAN experiences. They've come second in the most recent two minors. And Na'Vi, they have a championship of the UK Premiership, which is a bit less competitive than the European Pro League. And there aren't as many UK-based teams as there are in the rest of Europe. And yet they came in first seed. So I think a lot of people might agree with you. It makes it a big question mark over your matchup, because I know a lot of people coming into this game are going to be thinking, we haven't seen Wildcard as much before, but we also don't know about Na'Vi. So it's not just a black horse. It's like a pair of black horses fighting against each other. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I want to know what are your expectations going into the event, because you said that obviously you want to have a good time as well as that. Do you feel like you're going to make it past the quarters? Do you even think about that way coming into the event?
Oh, definitely. You have to always go in with a winning attitude. We obviously want to win the entire thing, but we have to take it one step at a time. Getting through Navi is our first goal, and yeah, we're like doing our homework on them, and before we even think about NIP and reciprocity. But yeah, I think it'll be a really good match, especially since like they're coming in as first seed of Europe, who've overtaken G2 and Empire. So we're basically versing, like, hypothetically speaking, the best team in the world. So that's awesome. That's actually really exciting.
And it'll be a huge experience as well for a lot of the roster who maybe haven't been to as many of these big events. You do have some players who haven't been to events quite this big. Well, actually, none of you have been to events this big. Maybe Neo is the exception, but even like Diesel, right? He's only had a couple of local lands under his belt as well. So I think this will be a huge experience for all of you. Now, kind of shifting away from Tokoname, we're going to go and highlight some community stuff in this section. But we're still staying on topic of Wildcard. We haven't mentioned yet, you're wearing the jersey. Now, we had to convince you to put on the jersey because you weren't wearing it before the show. And I'm very glad that you did put it on. But we've got some more Wildcard related stuff that Cthulhu wants to highlight as well.
Yeah, so for my host pick, thank you, Dev. I did decide to pick a card set that Kandor, one of Rainbow Six community artists as well, has created. It's been his ongoing project, and finally the first drop of the Wildcard cards actually looking kind of clean, not gonna lie. Definitely be keen to dig into them once the actual trading cards would be released, and probably even just start printing them and, I don't know, have like a wall of just all the cards. You never know. Maybe that could be the case, but how about you guys? What do you guys reckon?
Yeah, so my host pick of the week is going to be a piece of artwork from Laxing, well, not from Laxing, but a piece of artwork of Laxing. And I thought that this was really cool to actually see, like a piece of artwork. It's like it's not an operator. It's like the mix between Laxing and an operator. So I thought it was like a really cool concept. I personally really enjoyed it. And this was done by It's Teiishin. So if you'd like to follow her on Twitter, you can do that. But yeah, I just thought that this was really cool. And I saw this come up on my timeline, and I thought I'd showcase it.
Quality piece.
Great. And obviously Reciprocity Laxing will be at Tokoname Finals, and there's a chance that that you'll verse them, Sylix.
Well, hope so.
Yeah, very much hope so. And that would be in the semis if you make it, assuming that they make it past NIP as well. I was going to do your card for my host pick, but we already showed that at the start of the episode. So instead, I know Glenn Luna Metal is in the chat, or at least he was before. So, got to suck up to him a little bit. I chose the cards that Kandor put out for Airwolf, who are first seed APAC for the first time ever. The only time they've been top of APAC before properly was in 2017 when they played for the Invitational Qualifier and got the first spot for APAC at a global event on PC. Fnatic was there as Mindfreak on Xbox. So that was super exciting for them. And I think, Sylix, you've been to, I feel like Airwolf and Wildcard, I hold in my mind in kind of a similar place in APAC, because for a really long time you've been returning to these events and you've never quite made it that next step. Is there kind of a sense of camaraderie that you feel with teams like specifically Airwolf?
Yeah, I guess. We see the Airwolf boys at almost every APAC event. We're good friends, so we kind of feel each other when we're like not like when we don't make the next stage. Yeah.
Well, this time both of you made it to the grand stage, and
yeah, so that's really cool.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an exciting chapter in the book of the ANZ competitive scene, well, APAC competitive scene in general. And once again, just massive congrats. I'm actually extremely keen to see how it will, unveil.
I did not believe it. Like, I don't know how many hours it actually took me to think to myself. Like, I remember I got home, I got off the plane back from Sydney, and I was messaging Diesel, and I was like, I still don't believe it. It doesn't seem real yet. When is it going to feel real? I think Diesel said that, and it's a huge moment.
I'm going, and I still don't think it's real.
Well, you better be ready. You better pack some bags because it's just a week and a little bit out.
Yeah. And I remember it's actually, I think it took me by like seeing the final score of like the semifinals. I think I was at like even more, I guess, surprise / shock, even comparative to when the ye old Fnatic versus EG when Dizzle was playing, and I was like, I looked initially at when I looked back then, I was like at the score, like, no. Is there like hold on, let me check my eyesight. Is there a mistake? It's like, no, 2-0. Yeah, it happened. And then looking here is like, okay, so Airwolf playing against Nora is like, yeah, well, I want to win. I want to see Airwolf win, but at the same time, Nora is usually the ones that make it. And same kind of slightly less thought went into the CIG versus Wildcard, because it was more of a evenly matched, at least in my head. And then looking at the scoreline 2-0, and I was like, holy heck, this is happening. But for now though, we'll be wrapping up our episode. Massive thank you once again, Sylix, for joining us for tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. And thank you to our two hosts as well, Dev and Sky. Thank you for being part of the crew. Thank you for making it always, every episode, a pleasant experience. And thank you to all of you guys who are watching us on Twitch, on YouTube, as well as following us on the audio platforms as well. The episode will be on the offline audio platforms pretty soon as well, so stay tuned for that. And I think that's about it for us. Any final thoughts, ladies and gents?
I'm just hyped for Tokonami. I think it's going to be a fantastic event, and it's super exciting to see. I can't wait to see those wildcard jerseys on stage. That's what I want to say.
I need those jerseys in my life, actually.
Sick.
All right, fantastic. Time to close this one out, Cthulhu, I reckon.
Yep. Indeed. Thank you all very much. See you in the next one. Take it easy.
I've never seen you with such tired eyes, and everything